Right before I landed.
It's got audio on that?
Yeah.
What's happening, everybody? What is going on? Big day today. Big day today. Always a big day, man. Always great to have you in here. Remember, we got a bracket contest, Bricklayers Bracket Contest. Click on the link, which my son will throw here in the bio, in the top of the chat. You want to be in that, it's free. So please do that now. And like and subscribe. And that's about it, man. Jalen Waddle to the Broncos is a big deal. He's a hell of a player. Now, he gets hurt. How many games? Someone put in the chat for me, how many games has Jalen Waddle missed in the last 2 years? You can find that out right here. Hey, happy St. Patrick's Day. Clay Baker is playing Irish Rock today. What Irish Rock would we play today? Obviously, you too. But do you have any Irish Rock? Are you day drinking? Are you day drinking? I got a double dip. I got a show tonight, or I'd definitely be having some faces. No, I don't have any here. The game, JT Vegas today, and it will be hot. We're going to 95 degrees Wednesday or Thursday. Oh boy, that ain't good. There's nothing good about that, man. Go to our bracket contest, which is on our YouTube page. You can fill it out. Also, we have one right here company-wide at LV Sports Network. So there we go. We got a busy day today, and I got a lot to say. So let's fly in here, get going. Last show of the week for me. I'm out of Dodge tomorrow, a little father-son golf tournament with my youngest who rips the ball. Thank God. And we'll play golf for a couple of days in Florida, and we're excited about that. Back on Monday, I have Vinny Bonsignor in tomorrow and Thursday, and the great Vince Sapienza for Friday. Nice to have teammates here as we get rolling. So found out earlier today that Jalen Waddle is now a member of the Denver Broncos, and that should have a lot of effect on the Raider Nation, and that's the focus of our monologue, brought to you by Modelo, the fighting spirit of Modelo. You know, if you're having a St. Patty's Day party today, don't worry about green beer or green dye. Have yourself an ice-cold Modelo. I can promise you, you will show everybody in the bar, restaurant that you have the fighting spirit. Proud partner of the show. So the Broncos go get Waddle, and they give up a lot for him for picks, and it shows that the Broncos are all in, which isn't good for Raider Nation. That's not positive. It's not positive that he went there. You know, I'm going to have Raider fans on beer muscle saying, well, he gets hurt a lot. You know, he's a China doll. He gets injured. Look, I don't predict injuries on this show. I'm assuming that everybody's healthy this time of year unless they're coming off of surgery, and they're coming through surgery and they'll have a timeline to play. Jalen Waddle is available to play now, and he'll go to the Denver Broncos. Now, remember, Denver has probably been the most aggressive franchise in the last 2 years since they ate the contract of Russell Wilson, brought in Sean Payton, drafted Bo Nix, and have just loaded up with Patrick Surtain and that defense. Bonino, they're really good. I'm not a big Bo Nix guy. I believe our guy will be better. He better be better. He's the number one pick overall, Mendoza. He better be better than Bo Nix. He better be better than Michael Penix. Now, I'm not here to tell you Fernando is going to be better than Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels, but Jaden Daniels didn't do much last year, did he? Fernando's got to be great. We're not drafting Fernando to be Bo Nix. We're drafting Fernando way ahead of Bo Nix to be much better than Bo Nix. Everybody got that? Everybody understand the talking points here with Mendoza. We are drafting Mendoza for him to be great. Okay, now Matt Ryan was great. Kirk Cousins was very good. That seems to be the comp. All right, if he's between Kirk Cousins and Matt Ryan, the Raiders can win a lot of games and play in the Super Bowl. They can. Pick and choose the rest of the team, it's going to do that. But the question becomes now, why is Denver loading up so dramatically? Well, it's simple to me. They have one of the richest ownerships in all of sports. The Walmart money coming in now to Denver gives them the ability to spend. And they got a lot of cash on hand, very, very similar to the Raiders. Okay, the Broncos' top-tier ownership is worth more than Mark Davis, but Mark Davis's brand, the Raiders, is worth more than the Denver Broncos, I believe, in the long run, especially with the stadium, with the Legion Stadium and the sports and entertainment capital of the world. You can debate that all you want. Mark Davis brought in a new cash infusion of ownerships, and Egon Durbin and Michael Melman and Tom Brady, the ownership to infuse cash into this organization. So there'll never be a player that the Raiders can't afford. Ooh, I said it. Clip that again. I've been getting clipped a lot, so I don't mind anymore. I'm going away to play some golf, but you can clip that. The Raiders have plenty of money. It's just a question, do they have the cap space? They had a lot of cap space this offseason, and they spent most of it because they were moving forward on the notion that they were going to trade Max Crosby, who wanted to be traded. Turned out that deal fell apart because of the scoundrels led by Eric DaCosta and the Ravens. Once they did that, we get Max back, which I'm thrilled about. And we're sitting here with less cap space, but still plenty enough to redo contracts, sign the draft picks, but Denver's all in. So it's similar to the Rams, Clay, being all in the NFC West. If you're in the NFC West and you're the Cardinals, say, right? The Raiders are the Cardinals. They're the worst teams in their division on paper until now. If the Cardinals are watching the Rams get better and the Niners getting Mike Evans, that's not good for the Cardinals. So for this, how did you handle this move today with Jalen Waddle? Because he makes Denver better, and they're already better than the Raiders.
Yeah, and I think it's, like you said, it's an all-in move, especially when Denver feels like they closed the gap against Kansas City, and they can go and win this division with another guy that complements Courtland Sutton.
So I look at Jalen Waddle, and he's not Randy Moss in the prime of his career. You know, we're not talking about Terrell Owens. We're not talking about that, but we're talking about a big-time game changer. So, and you'd be surprised. I thought he missed a lot of games. He hasn't missed a lot of games. Came into the league in 2021 and played in 16 games as a rookie. You know, as a rookie, he had 104 receptions. He had 140 targets for 1,015 yards and 6 touchdowns. His sophomore year with Miami, he played 17 games. He had less receptions, only 75, but much more yardage. 1,356. He averaged 18.1 a reception, which is a big number, 8 touchdowns. Then his production went down. 2023, he played 14 games, 2024, 15. And then last season with the Dolphins, as they were imploding, 16 games, 64 receptions, 100 targets, 910 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So as I looked at the math, the fuzzy math, he looks to be a guy that you can say will play 15 or 16 games if healthy. He'll have about 1,000 yards, and he'll get you over 75 receptions if he's healthy. He might go back to 100, but they have Courtland Sutton, a pretty good player over here. All you need to understand on this move today is simply this, because my phone's been blowing up all day on this move. All you have to ask yourself is this, and you'll have a great rest of your day if you're a Raider fan. Do we have enough players good enough to cover these Bronco receivers in the Raider secondary? Do we have enough? I say no. We do not. Now, then you ask yourself another question. The guys that we have in Raider Nation, are they good enough to guard these guys? I would say that's open for debate. That would be Eric Stokes retained as a starting corner, Jeremy Chin, as of now, Isaiah Palomal. Okay, and then the other corner, if it's going to be Darian Porter, if they get another one. That's what you got to dive into today. Like my buddy Cisco, who's in here with the black hole. He understands how to dive into a topic. So are you comfortable today with Jalen Waddle wide, Courtland Sutton wide, and both of them running go routes towards Isaiah Palomal? That's all you got to answer. If you can answer that question, you better thank God you got Max Crosby on one edge and Kwity Paye. on the other, because I don't know what Malcolm Kuntz can do anymore. I don't know what Tyree Wilson can do. I have no idea. Robbie Leonard, this is the last chance. Robbie Leonard's got to get something out of those guys. But if those guys are running go routes towards our safeties, are you comfortable that our safeties can guard those guys after 20 yards? Good luck answering that one. Okay, that's why the Raiders are in a situation now where they're building depth, right? They're building depth. They brought in 7 to 8 new starters, a lot of good starters on defense, the dogs from Georgia, who I like a lot. But you got to ask, do the Raiders have the guys who can cover? When the hell was the last time we had someone here who could cover? Anybody? Bueller? When's the last time we've had someone in here that could cover? That just could cover. Not give a 10-yard cushion. Not give a 7-yard cushion. Just could cover. You can put them up. It's called bump and run. Google Willie Brown, Mike Haynes, bump and run, Lester Hayes. Or can sit back in coverage like Eric Allen. Oh, how about that for a name? I should get him on. Eric Allen. Eric Allen could give you 5 yards and close. Eric Allen could tackle. Eric Allen was good in space. C. Wood in the hood. Charles Woodson, another guy. Bump and run, can cover. I don't know if we have the guys who can cover. That's their job over there in Deep Henderson, to figure out if they have enough in the secondary and to go out and do it. So that's where we're at. Yeah, Jack Jones, he did for a while, fell through. Nnamdi Asomugha for a short time, for 1 year or two, really good. That fell through when he went to Philadelphia. So Jalen Waddle's a good player. I thought he missed more games than that. I really did. I thought he missed more games. He didn't. So they are unloading. And then the other topic is I want to get out to your phones, the phone calls here, because I need your bracket. I need your bracket today or tomorrow before I get out of Dodge. So get me your bracket. The other topic is we're seeing now 3 teams tank for Arch Manning. Do not go to a sports bar or talk to any of your friends and say Arch Manning isn't the number 1 pick next year. You'll sound stupid. I don't want you to sound stupid. I want you to be the smartest guy in the sports bar. When I go out to bars, I don't like to talk sports because I talk sports too much. When I go to a bar, I like to talk to my friends about anything other than sports. Okay, just make sure you all understand, because you're smart, that Arch Manning's going number 1 next year. He's a Manning. He's really good. That's why he plays for Texas. He's going to throw an interception. Who cares? He's going to be great in the NFL. Great, not good. That's Arch Manning. You have 3 teams officially tanking in March to get him next April. It's remarkable. So who are the 3 teams that are tanking? The Dolphins more than any team. The Arizona Cardinals, they're tanking. Gardner Minshew's their quarterback. They are tanking. And the New York Jets, as we're paying for Geno to go play there, they're tanking. So they all want Arch Manning. And as I tweeted out earlier today, Grandpa Archie should head down to Miami right now, Grandma and Grandpa, and go look for real estate down in Miami. You think Arch Manning's going to turn down the Dolphins? Oh, Troy Aikman's now a consultant down there. You don't think they're going to go try to get him? So that's what's happening. We're seeing tanking. As I said in an earlier video on social media at JT the Brick, I am the radio host that doesn't tank. Sorry that you have some other radio hosts that like to tank. I don't. I understand what it's like when it's week 15, 16, and you're terrible. You're having a bad year and you want to sit your star defensive end and your star tight end. I get it. It's a different level of tanking. It's still trying to figure out a way to be competitive, but you know where I'm going with that. So when it comes to now, we're seeing a lot of tanking going on, and that's going to continue because there's a really good quarterback class next year. Next year is a really good quarterback class. So you're going to start to see some tanking now. You're going to see some teams do that, and they're all setting themselves up. So it'd be nice this year, and I could dive into it, but the dates haven't come out. It'd be nice to have the Jets, the Cardinals, and the Dolphins, Clay, on your schedule next year. It'd be nice to have them on your schedule, especially the Jets and the Dolphins if you're in the AFC East, because Buffalo and New England are saying, man, we got those 2 wins. We got those locked in, and we got our wins there, and they're going to have to fight amongst themselves.
Yeah, it's almost like you don't have like even field competition here. You're looking at 2 teams that are going in the different direction of everyone else because they're encouraging mediocre, and they're encouraging non-achievement.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure what that bodes well for the younger guys. They have rookies that are still on rookie deals. They're trying to find their way. What about them? I mean, like, everything is going for naught, and it's like the Jets are only playing for their first-round picks that they have next year and this year.
Yeah, the Jets are clearly tanking, but I said this before, and I mean it. Gino's going to be better than he was here. Gino's going to be better with the Jets than he was here. He's going to learn from that lesson of no offensive line and running for his life. Believe me, Gino's going to be playing better than he played in Vegas. I don't know how many games they're going to win, and Aaron Glenn shouldn't want to tank because he's the coach. He'll get fired if they lose all these games. The coach in Arizona and Miami, those two young coaches are not going to get fired if they tank and they get Archer Manning. So that's a shorter monologue. If you'd like to get through, 702-365-9200. I'm excited about March Madness, and I filled out my bracket today. I got Illinois going really far, so that could haunt me. If Illinois goes out early, I'm dead. I went happy wife, happy life. We're an Illinois household. And then Duke has got some big injuries. They're in the bracket with St. John's and Kansas. I think Michigan's got the easiest bracket out there. There's going to be some sleeper teams, and Chris in West Oakland going up to Tahoe, as he does every year, a tradition unlike any other. Excited to hear from you, Chris, as you're heading to Tahoe for your annual trip. How are you?
Absolutely. Leaving tomorrow morning with Zach, and my oldest Andrew might even grace us with his presence. This is my Super Bowl, JT, and the best part about it for me, I get 4 days of it, not just one. Too bad your mini vacation this year is not going to coincide with your ski trip, but it's also going to deprive me of my annual drunken phone call about 12:15 on Thursday afternoon. But in your honor, I will have more than a few bourbons, or I'll start out with a Bloody Mary. You got to get some tomato juice in there so you're at least healthy for the day. But real quick, your question earlier, I got to go back to Charles Woodson, an old Charles Woodson, a guy that I actually trusted that could cover and or find the football and catch the damn thing in the secondary before Woodson. And again, this is another guy that started his career as a corner and moved to safety. Go back to Rod Woodson in 2002 when we went to the Super Bowl. I want to see the rate. And your other question, I don't know that we're good enough in the secondary right now to cover these guys because they haven't been in the past. I want to see an organizational shift real quick, JT. Instead of trying to find the next hitter, the Atkinsons, the Tatum, we need to find some ball hawks. We need to find some guys that, like you said, can cover. And John Gruden once said this his first go-round with the Raiders. You can never have enough quality cornerbacks and secondary guys in the modern NFL. But let me segue real quick, JT. I'm with you, man. This is my Super Bowl, like I said. I don't do brackets much anymore because I'm pretty much gambling on every game. But my long and short of it, I've got Arizona winning it all. I don't think Duke can get there without their starting point guard. They're going to get Nunga, their big guy back. But just real quick on that, I've got Arizona beating St. John's in the championship game. I think St. John's got royally screwed in the seeding process. Anybody that's watched this team the last month and a half and puts them as a number 5 seed shows you that they're not watching the games and they're paying too much attention to analytical metrics. And I'm with you too. I've got Illinois as my real dark horse, Iowa State. I don't know if anybody saw last week. The absolute game of the college basketball season was the Big 12 semifinal, Arizona, when they beat Iowa State at the buzzer. Iowa State can shoot. They're big. They're like a European professional team. Don't be shocked if Iowa State doesn't upset Arizona in the Elite Eight of that bracket and ends up in the Final Four. Finally, though, JT, this. I have not done any drinking yet. I will be heading to my mom's for corned beef and cabbage later. I just want to pay a little tribute like I always do, as you know. 12 years ago today, my father passed away on St. Patrick's Day. Always a good reason to drink and have a couple of shots, even though I don't. So, again, thanks for letting me get on here and rant, JT. I wish you were going to be on the air Thursday. Have a great St. Patrick's Day. And I got a shot in my hand right now. This is for my father, Bob. This is for you, Dad. Just did a shot of Crown, my friend.
Nice.
Have a great trip, brother. I'll talk to you next week when you get back.
God bless your dad. God bless your dad, a diehard Raider fan who brought you to Raider games in the 70s, made you one of my dear friends and lifelong diehard members of Raider Nation. I'm lucky to have my dad with me at 87, my mom at 86. Those who've been listening know I'm going to be spending a lot of time going back and forth to Florida, a lot of time here coming up in the off season. Not a lot, but enough. And family first. And then we'll get ready for the upcoming season. And we're going to have a little bit of an off season. But this year it's going to be more unique because we're going to go right into Mendoza Mania and Fernando Mendoza and the pick in the draft coming up in April. So April is going to be, we're going to just ride April hard, doing mock drafts and talking to draft insiders, but knowing that the Raiders already have the number 1 pick and where they're going to go. After that, it's the Raiders had the 14th pick, which they didn't, the Crosby deal that didn't go through. It would have been a little bit more interesting. Now we're going to have to focus on what the Raiders are going to do with the first pick that they're going to have in the second round. And I don't have the answer to that. I don't have the answer to that, but I'm going to be talking to a lot of people. Open lines, we should never have any, especially in this town. I mean, we're talking about the biggest topics in sports. I don't know what you're doing, but we want to hear from you. 702-365-9200. I am completely prepared tonight. I'll be on Mad Dog Sports Radio on Sirius XM live at the end and the conclusion of USA Baseball versus Venezuela. This is really interesting. This game is everything. There is no such thing as anything positive coming out of this game without a gold medal. They need a gold medal. That is it. There is nothing else. Final call as Venezuela beat Italy and they advance to the WBC final. Yeah, that was nice. That was on MLB Network Radio. Also, Fox Sports 1 had it, and the game will be on tonight. You know, I made this point clear the other day, and I really mean this, and I'd love you to jump in on it if you agree or disagree. There are other countries that do sports better than us. I just said it. The biggest sport in the world we suck at, soccer. Our women are great. Our men stink. We stink. All right, we're not even a blip on anyone's radar. I hope I'm wrong and USA soccer plays well in the World Cup, but we're nothing compared to Argentina, Brazil, Spain, England, Germany. We're nothing compared to them, not even close. And don't argue that point because I don't even want to hear it. It's not even close. So we're not the best country in the world when it comes to the biggest sport. But we think we're the best country because we are the best country in a lot of things, non-sports. Right? We're a superpower. We got a lot of great things. Our economy is the biggest and best in the world. We got great people. We got a great democracy. We got great everything. We're the best. I never doubted that. But we're not the best in sports. We're not. Okay, Canada's the best in hockey. Oh, but we've been beating Canada. We claim to be the best in baseball. Yes, but the Dominicana and obviously Venezuela is very good. And the best player in the world plays from Japan in Shohei Ohtani. So we are not the greatest in the world at everything we do. One of the biggest sports in the world that you used to love and actually play and you don't watch enough anymore is tennis. Tennis is one of the most difficult sports to ever play skill set wise in your life. Not to just volley with your buddy in the backyard. I'm talking to play tennis at the highest level in the world. We suck. Our women are great. Our men suck. Federer, Djokovic, Nadal, Carlos Alcaraz, Sinner, all these players, we're not any good. Right? So we're not the best in the world at everything. We better be the best in the world tonight in baseball. We better be the best because we kind of live on that. Baseball, America's pastime. We got to win this thing. So what I love about this, I don't know who's going to win the game. USA is a favorite. I'd like USA to win. I'm going to root heavy. If we lose, is Venezuela all of a sudden the best baseball country in the world? Debatable. They're going to tell you all that in Venezuela. Walk down the streets of Venezuela. They'll tell you who's the best if they win. Their fans are more into it than our fans. We got fans that are into the WBC. Great fans. Not even comparable to the Dominicans and the Venezuelans. Not even competitive to them. Okay? Not even close. So with all the stuff that we're talking about right here, big game tonight. Big game. Bryce Harper, a Vegas guy, better wake up. Captain America, Aaron Judge has been playing really good, but nobody cares. Nobody cares if he's been playing really good. Everybody cares if he wins one game, which is the championship game. So with all this, there's pressure tonight. That's real-time sports. That's what sports is about, playing under tremendous pressure. And for the USA team, we're not at full strength. We don't have Paul Skeens pitching. Tarek Skubal's not pitching, right? Garrett Cole's not healthy. He's not pitching. We're not the best team we can have. We're pretty close. We got an all-star team, but we got to win this game tonight. So I'm excited. I think this is must-see TV. If you're day drinking today, which is highly encouraging, St. Patty's Day. Don't drink and drive. I've always said that. Brought to you by the DeCastaverde Law Group. Brothers Win, brotherswin.com. If you get into an accident, get hurt, let the brothers take over from there, brotherswin.com. Do not drink and drive today. Don't ever do it. And today, don't be stupid. If you're going to a restaurant or bar, have a blast. Have a blast, but put the keys away and have a responsible good time. You might need a nap before the World Baseball Classic. You might need a little nap after that if you've had a couple of cervezas here during the day. We got a hell of a show. Listen to this. I mean, we don't put our feet up, man. We got a hell of a show. We got Greg Rosenthal from NFL.com. He'll join us at 1:30. He's got the top 100 free agents. I think he has the best and most active webpage in all of NFL offseason at NFL.com. He's really good. Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, the franchise, always hard on the Raiders, but a legendary sports talk host, so we put him on. And coming up here in 5 minutes, Levi Edwards from the digital team over at the Raiders. He's writing some really good content on exactly what the Raiders are doing. He's taking us behind the scenes. He's meeting the players in the building and doing a nice job. So we have Levi coming up here really shortly. And then you're ready to call in. You know, I wait around all day to host this show. My wife literally says, get out of the house, you're pacing. And I come in here 30 minutes and I just hear from Chris from West Oakland. That's a win for me. That's a win for me to have a great call right out of the gate. We necessarily don't need calls. We like to hear from fans. That's it. Nothing will change. And if you don't want to call in, we thank you for listening, because we got a good group that's in our YouTube chat right now, and they're like callers. They're like callers. Also, let me be a reminder to everybody here that we have a big promotion going on here right now. And starting yesterday, March 16th, Raider Nation 920 wants you to hit the jackpot, win $2,026 a day. How about that? That's company-wide, nationally, not guaranteed in this market, but that's how much money's at stake. A Raider Nation 920 wants you to hit the jackpot every Monday to Friday. You can win $2,026 just by listening for the daily code and texting it to us at 702-365-9200 to register. The contest opens each day at 8 and goes till 5 p.m. Really good. The code word changes daily, so make sure you're listening to the morning tailgate at 7:40 to get the keyword of the day. And just like that, you can hit the jackpot, okay, for $2,026 a day, brought to you by Lotus Broadcasting, Raider Nation Radio, 920 a.m. Man, that's a nice way to make some cash. As the great philosopher Randy Moss once said, straight cash, homie. All right, let's get going. Let's hear from you. Let's get to Levi Edwards. Coming up next, we're brought to you by Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. Great way to have a great lunch or dinner today on St. Patrick's Day. No better way. Get the box combo. Go through the app. It's the best way to do it. Get on that mobile app at Raising Cane's. You can order your food ahead of time. You can go through the drive-thru. Whatever you need, they're the best. The best chicken fingers in the world, the buttery Texas toast, and the cane sauce made in store each day.
Yep. At the line of scrimmage, you look at play selection and where the league is going. Like 60-40 used to be balanced. Now balance.
Mike Pritchard, we need to get him on.
So if you look at Clint and what he was with Seattle and what he's been about, he was 50-50, spot on. It puts so much pressure on linebackers and safeties. That's hard to win.
All right, man. We're just going to pound through today. Yep.
What time you want to do?
I think Levi would be a good 12:30 right out of the gate. Yep. Let's get in the chat here. Everybody hit like. Everybody right now just hit the like. Got a lot of people in here on X, on Twitter. If you're on X, on Twitter, and you're just checking us out, thanks for coming in. Please subscribe to our channel so you can get alerts. The key is getting these alerts when things happen. Where do we got listeners from today? Virginia. That's nice. Virginia. Cadillac Levi. Let me see what Levi's writing about. Good afternoon, Clash. Downtown Vancouver. Wow. Lake Tahoe, of course. Snow Raider. Snow Raider. Daniel Jeremiah has his second mock draft out. All right. March to Centennial Subaru at US 95 and Ann Road, where your savings await. Centennial Subaru, a short drive from everywhere in the valley. I think Levi wrote about Quiddy Pay. Yeah. Quiddy Pay. We'll start with Quiddy Pay. Everybody enjoyed their day. Violator. Now you know you got a real show and you got the Violator in here, man. Raider royalty. Violator, man. We were going to be on the Raider cruise last week. No cruising for me. Got to make that up. It's not about the injury. It's about the recovery. Go to Paul Padua. Yes, I'll be at La Casa Cigars today, picking up some cigars for my my golf trip. I'm shooting right now anywhere between 82 and 85. You know, I'm struggling to get below 80. Which I've broken before, but not often. I'm really struggling because I'm not playing a lot. We haven't had much time off since last August, as you know. But yeah, I'm hitting it in the low to mid 80s, so that's pretty good. Oh, from the blues, not from the whites. If I was playing from the whites, I'd go lower, but I'm hitting from the blues because I'm a real man. And real men play from the blues. No, I don't play from the tips. I do not play from the tips. Switch to T-Mobile and get iPhone 17 on us. And right now, we'll pay off your old phone up to $800. I'm grabbing my phone and switch to T-Mobile. Chipping's been bothering me. The 30 to 60 yard chip is really a nightmare shot for me. Because if I'm 10 feet off the green, I putt or I bump and run with like a 7 or 8 iron. I just get it on the green. But if I'm like 40 yards out and there's a bunker and some pretty high rough, and I got to hit like a 1/4 or 1/3 swing. I need a lesson on that. I need a couple of lessons on that. When I can take a full swing of a wedge, I'm not bad. From 100 to 110, I'm good with that. But man, that little 30-yard pitch shot, man, there's a little couple chunks, little chunky monkey, as my man Monello would tell me, no chunky monkey. Sometimes Levi goes to lunch when he should be on with us.
Join me at betmoneyhoney.com. That's betmoneyhoney.com.
Lanier in transition hits the three and a sign of life from Knoxville. Clean drive is right.
Levi's ready.
This year's action on the Final Four with Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the men's NCAA tournaments. Listen to the games on the Las Vegas Sports Network.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show. Brought to you by PT, the best happy hour in town, 5 to 7 p.m. and midnight to 2 a.m.
Of the insiders that Dolphins star receiver Jalen Waddle is headed to the Denver Broncos in a massive deal. Sean Payton's team has been trying to get a premium big-time pass catcher for a little more than a year now. They finally land one as far as the full terms on the deal. Here is our understanding. It is Jalen Waddle from the Miami Dolphins along with a 4th rounder to the Broncos. Meanwhile, Miami gets the Broncos' first-round pick plus a 3rd and a 4th rounder. Denver also assumes the balance of Jalen Waddle's salary. And if this trade all sounds familiar, my understanding is the talks actually started last year around the trade deadline. The Miami Dolphins, different regime, but same organization, wanted a first-rounder and more for Jalen Waddle, believing that was the price. Several teams were in the mix then. The Buffalo Bills were among them, but so were the Denver Broncos. Regime change in Miami, but the two sides, George Payton leading the talks from the Denver Broncos standpoint, they kept talking. earlier today reached an agreement on a massive, massive trade. Denver Broncos have brought in no outside free agents at all. Now they bring in Jalen Waddle.
Let's see, Rappaport from NFL Network, Jalen Waddle to the Broncos. Levi Edwards joins us from the digital team over at Raiders headquarters. Before we get to some of your great work, the column you wrote on Kwity Paye, earlier before you came on, I said that could be a problem for the Raiders. The Raiders' deep secondary is going to have to stop Sutton and Waddle. That's not easy to do, Levi.
No, that's a huge trade for the Denver Broncos, just in the sense that obviously they had such a great season, but Bo Nix was a little short on weapons outside of Cortland Sutton. They had kind of like a committee for who was going to be his other weapons, and definitely was something that if the Broncos did have any weaknesses, I think that receiving core was definitely one of them. And so now you are able to kind of take a pick that you don't really necessarily need because you kind of have a solidified core. You get Jalen Waddle, get Bo Nix another weapon when he's healthy. It really is something that I would consider a move that could even elevate them to get to that Super Bowl instead of getting stopped short of the AFC Championship game like they were this year.
So how would the Raiders counter that move with what they have, with the coaching they have, and Max Crosby back in the building, some of the edge rushers that could get to a quarterback a little bit quicker, but the depth at the cornerback position, what's available left in free agency in the draft? I mean, they're not going to draft a kid playing in college who could guard Waddle and Sutton in year one, I can tell you that.
Well, I don't really necessarily see any other options at the moment. Really, the only thing that you have that you can look to is the back of the guys that you have right now. You have Jalen Waddle for the Broncos now, who you know is a very, very, very fast receiver. So what do? You put a very, very fast corner on him, and you have that in Darian Porter Jr., who you would hope going into his second season is going to make a huge leap. He got reps sparingly throughout his rookie year, but really that's a guy that you have the ability that you drafted to kind of be that guy who can be on the other side of Eric Stokes. So you have to go that route where you have to look into the draft. You have to figure out a way that you can find a gem on day 2 or day 3 that you can put in your secondary and be able to hold his own.
Levi Edwards is our guest. So you wrote a nice column I read on Kwity Paye, willing to do whatever it takes to win for his new team. I find this unique because I think this was a move at times, and I'd like you to walk me through the timeline. If Max Crosby's deal went forward with Baltimore, would we be talking about Kwity Paye, or is Kwity Paye just an addition now to work with Max and what the Raiders are going to have on the opposite side of them? How do you see it?
I definitely see it now as a huge addition because no matter what would have happened with that trade going through or not, you were still going to have to get some help on the defensive line regardless. So that's exactly what that is. He's a guy that, one, availability, the best ability is availability. Kwity Paye's played a lot of football in the last 4 years where he doesn't miss games. He doesn't really take off reps like that. So you're getting somebody who's going to be readily available with a good injury history on him. And then on top of that, he's a really good run defender as well. So you put him next to a guy that, like Max Crosby's also a really good run defender. It definitely can cause problems for opposing offenses. So I really just like, he plays with a lot of power, aggression. There's some things that obviously he has 30.5 sacks in his career, which is pretty impressive, especially considering that pass rushing isn't really necessarily his forte. I think he's a great run defender. So it'll be really interesting to see how he fits into the dichotomy of that defensive line, but it certainly is a welcome addition.
Levi Edwards wrote a great column. The doghouse arrives in the desert. Nakobe Dean, Quay Walker bring winning ways and strong bond to the silver and black. I want to spend the majority of our time remaining on these two players. How did that come together? I didn't think one of those players were coming here, let alone two. I am thrilled, over the moon, excited that the Raiders have legit guys who are instant starters who really have good track records of playing in big games.
Yeah, this was a perfect mashup of when, best player available meets team need. And we talk about this all the time within draft, but really free agency, you see it come together like that, where the same thing with Tyler Lindenbaum on the other side of the field. But these are two guys, obviously the linebacker core is thin, especially with guys that are expected to be unrestricted free agents. It's looking really thin, and so you go out and you get two guys that not only have accomplished a good amount within their career, but they're young, both 25 years old. hopefully invest in the future as well. So, and on top of it, they played together.
Mm-hmm.
They played with each other for 3 seasons. They won a national championship together. So you're pairing them with a cornerback that you re-signed. They also won a national championship with Eric Stokes. So it really is chemistry means everything. And sometimes there's things off the field that you don't see that create magic on the field. And these are 2 guys that you're bringing in that have put in the work and done a lot of things to create magic on the field just because of their relationship off the field, with how they go about business, of how they watch film, of how they meet up, how they do things. They have a very healthy competition, which they both talked to me about, of just in the sense of they always push each other to be better. And I would expect nothing less now at the next level in the NFL as teammates.
Yeah, it's interesting as we wrap this up. I look at their ability to play and now the depth. Devin White hit a performance bonus and got an extra, I think, $1.3 million or $1 for playing and putting up the all-time tackle number in the history of this franchise. Now, not all of it was beautiful, especially in coverage, and I get it, but he played his ass off, and he was a good teammate, and there was a lot of good with him. How much does the rest of the depth need to play out at linebacker? Because someone pretty high up told me, if you're going to play a 3-4 or something similar to that, you're going to need about 7 linebackers, 4 starters, 2 really good ones to fill in for the injured starters when they're banged up 17 games, and then 2 are going to play, not start, but play on special teams who better be ready to jump in a game in a certain situation. What does the depth look like in that linebacker room?
Well, you see it starting to shape up a little bit because you have N'Kobe Dean, and you have Quay Walker that you obviously just signed, and then you bring back, you give a tender to Charles Snowden, who's going to be kind of your outside pass rushing linebacker, who also was able to do some things in coverage that we saw last year. So that gives you 3. And then you still have Tommy Eichenberg as another off-ball linebacker, who's 4. And then on top of that, you sign the Colts linebacker who blocked the punt in the regular season, Sagan. So that's a really good special teams piece that you have as well. So that's 5 guys that you have right there that kind of match what you're trying to get. And then you have the draft, free agency, and also the guys that you have left to potentially work out deals to resign to kind of make up for the other 2 or 3. And, every year, I've noticed recently that the Raiders have had really good luck with undrafted free agents who are linebackers as well, being able to identify those guys and be able to bring them in. And they have a really good shot at making the team as well. So right now, I say on the roster, you probably have 5 guys that kind of can make up or consist of that, of what you need of the 7. But we still have another 2 months to kind of figure out who are going to be the other 2 or 3 that are going to be on that 53-man roster moving forward. But there's a lot of time to figure that out.
All right, Levi, we talked about you traveling globally, and especially, you just had a Miami trip. We know that you can morph into eating the right food in cities like New Orleans at the Super Bowl when the Raiders go there, eat some Creole down there. We've talked about your appetite on Christmas, let alone the biggest one, Thanksgiving. You're not participating in any of this St. Patrick's Day food. This is not a good day to eat in the United States of America. We are not known on St. Patty's Day for good food. So do you go outside the box, or do you even dare go down the corned beef and cabbage and even attempt to do that?
I didn't even know that there was such a thing as St. Patty's Day food.
Yes.
I didn't even know that there's like staples that you can eat for St. Patrick's Day. I mean, I might find a nice lager, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not a huge beer guy, obviously. Modelo is the big one that I know you guys like.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I might drink a beer for the hell of it, just for St. Patrick's Day. I don't really know what else to do to celebrate. I'm wearing green right now, wearing a Cadillac shirt, so that's probably as best as I'll get for the holiday.
Fair enough. So you are not partaking in the terrible food selections that we typically have. And before you all yell at me online and tell me how your corned beef and cabbage is better than anybody, my mom's maiden name is O'Connor. I got half of Irish pumping through me, and I will pass. Levi, great work this week. The columns are great. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you so much, JT. I appreciate you.
You got it. Levi Edwards had no interest in talking about Clay, the St. Patrick's. No interest. He just shut me down like he had somewhere to go. Do you participate in this St. Patrick's Day recipe ideas?
There's some I try to avoid, like the Irish nachos, which is potato chips and cheese and meat and stuff like that, like really low-cal. food. Of course, the corned beef and cabbage. I am now buying because I have tried to make it myself for my mom and my sister who are Irish. We're Irish, and
sure,
I'm terrible at it. And I see them like trying to bite through it, and
it's just awful.
They have overcooked it. It looks like they're trying to like chew nails, and it's like they're like, oh, this is good, and I know they're lying. So I'm just going to go buy it today, bite the bullet, and then just cross it off my list.
I'm a big believer on. First off, I cannot believe that Ireland and Great Britain can't provide any food, like none. Like it's hard. It's hard to believe that you could grow up. I bring this story up when I was a young boy, and my parents failed me on only one thing. They never heard or told me about Mexican food. So I grew up as a kid, right? And I loved as a kid to eat on the run, and my mom made great sandwiches. But we didn't have burritos and chicken quesadillas. We didn't have Robertos. And then I moved to San Diego. And once I got to San Diego and I lived there for 8 years, I lived off carne asada burritos, chicken tacos, and my mind opened up and my life opened up to maybe the best food to ever get on the run, which is Mexican food. And you're telling me in Ireland and England, they have fish and chips is one thing. My dad just had that when I was in Florida last week. It was good. But it's a hard day for the Irish to eat today. I think it's a wasteful day. Remember, when in doubt, chicken cutlet parmesan. When in doubt, go Italian. Go Italian. Or as Rob KOLV said, I like this, a classic Reuben on St. Patrick's Day. That is a great choice. Is that one of the most, I'm starting to do food. Remember, I'm not like those other guys who do food shows. Oh, I'm getting caught up in something. This is more public service, but that's very interesting that he just said that here in regards to how to mix it up a bit and some of the other options. A Reuben is they have this place in LA called Jerry's Famous Deli. Famous, a bunch of them. And if you got their classic Reuben, it's one of the greatest. Do you do the pastrami Reuben? What's your go-to when you go to a Reuben?
Yeah, I'd love to do the pastrami Reuben, especially if you got the kind of like a homemade rye bread that they know, supposed to swirl rye.
Oh,
yeah. And like those delis, like it's like 7 inches of meat. Like they don't skimp on like the pastrami and the corned beef. It's like up to you to see if you can actually go and handle it.
The great J.O.D., the most famous Irish bartender in the world, says it's an Irish-American dish, not from Ireland. So he wants to make sure that he said the Irish have ribeye, not corned beef. That's coming from the great J.O.D. And if you go to One Steak, you'll see that. You'll go to One Steak and get one of the best menu experiences of your life over at Virgin Hotels. Yeah, I think the Reuben overall is just a fabulous sandwich. I mean, just a fabulous overall choice. Could be heavy at times. USA lineup is out. Bobby Witt Jr. will lead off. Harper batting second. Judge in the 3-hole. Schwarber. Then they'll go to, Alex Bregman's going to play, and he's going to bat fifth. Roman Anthony. Then Will Smith, the catcher, the Dodger catcher. Durang, the second baseman, and then Buxton will play center field. No Pete Crow Armstrong. No Petey, who I coached in T-ball. No Petey out there. Remember, Pete Crow Armstrong's hit a couple of home runs, and he's cut down some gap base hits that have held runners up there. Don't know if I like that there, but I'll be watching tonight. Get on in. Give us a call today. It's St. Patty's Day. Yeah, we'll open it up on what the menu should be on St. Patty's Day. We'll try to save some lunch lives. We're on during lunch, but it's evening drive in the East Coast, and we have a lot of evening drive listeners back there. I want to thank our friends at Boyd Gaming. What they do in this community is tremendous. The 10 Boyd properties always bet on black. When you think of a local casino operator who knows how to treat customers perfectly with a great legacy reputation of Mr. Boyd, it's Boyd Gaming, proud partner of Raider Nation Radio. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Yeah, we're setting that up. If you can get that Boyd to Ray. Thank you. Appreciate it. Be right back.
But now they're coming inside these contracts and be like, we got Max Crosby in the building too? Let's eat. Let's let the dogs eat. So the question becomes, who's happy? Players on the roster or DC Rutland? Who's the happiest right now? They got to say it's Rutland. The options are endless.
The morning tailgate, weekdays at 7 a.m.
Boyd Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly. This is JT for the local 872, proud partners of Raider Nation Radio, led by Tommy White, building the city on time and on budget. Go to local872.com to find out about apprenticeships, career paths, all the public work zones, and the schedules that are happening here in our valley. I'm proud to be associated with the 872, proud partners of my show and Raider Nation Radio.
Here's your chance to own a luxury vehicle at a non-luxury price. Hi, this is Brennan, General Manager at Jaguar Land Rover Las Vegas. Come and see a variety of our certified pre-owned vehicles at Jaguar Land Rover Las Vegas or visit us online at jlrlv.com.
Modelo is an official cerveza of the Las Vegas Raiders and the JT the Brick Show. Modelo Especial is the model Mexican lager. Everyone knows that hard work deserves a fitting reward. A Pilsner-style lager with a crisp, clean taste.
For Han Nakfi with Nakfi Injury Law, imagine you've been injured in an accident. Now, do you want an assembly line law firm that treats you like a number and settles early for easy money? Hell no. You want an attorney.
All right, so we got a bricklayers bracket contest. My son keeps putting it in the chat. Please click on, fill out your bracket. I filled out mine today. Mine will be up there. See, my son just put it there. Just click it on. You'll go right to the bracket. Our invitation, it's free.
Our suspension experts will take you right to the next level.
All right, so a short one here. What do we got for sound, Clay? Mel Kiper, is that new?
Yeah, new.
Okay.
The Kiper bed note in the chair new, and Orlovsky again. So it's like Rashee's saying he's great with progressions, Mendoza.
Okay.
Orlovsky saying, I don't know, he's iffy with progressions. But the Kiper's very good.
Hey, Jeff.
Okay.
How's your job working out?
Really sucks. Terrible boss, and the paycheck is even worse. I gotta get a new job.
Truck you.
Wait, what?
I got the, put this in your phone for
Dude, you should check out
Hacksaw
Truck You
Hardline.
CDL
Okay.
Trading. My brother got his CDL license in 4 weeks, and now he has a new career making great money.
Okay, I'm listening.
Truck You offers small classes with night and weekend times available. They will even
Yep.
help with payment programs. Check them out. Truck
Yep, that's Lee Hacksaw Hamilton.
Nick here with Stefano's Greek and Mediterranean Grill. Summerlin, it's official. Stefano's is now open on Lake Mead in Buffalo. Come enjoy our beautiful dining room designed for family meals, quick lunches, and everything in between. Or swing by for fast, easy takeout with all your favorites. Gyros, bowls, shawarmas, kebabs, and our famous baklava. Our salad dressings and marinades are made with no seed oils. And our must-try fries are cooked in 100% avocado oil. The new Stefano's in Summerlin is now open. Come taste what everyone's talking about. Stefano's, real food, real fast, real healthy.
Baseball is back at the world's largest sportsbook. Hey, this is Brandy Flores. Join us Thursday, March 26th at Circa Resort and Casino in downtown Las Vegas to celebrate the start of the season with a ceremonial first pitch by A's legend Dave Stewart. Catch all the games on their 78 million pixel screen while you feast on Coney Dogs by American Coney Island and complimentary apple pie. Plus special activations from the new hometown team, the A's. And oh yeah, moms drink free. Don't miss the first day of baseball at Circa Resort and Casino. Visit circalasvegas.com for more information.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show. Brought to you by Local 872, your workforce solution.
Back, Gino looking right, throwing back in the end zone. Touchdown! Brock Bowers, how do you leave him alone? Back in the end zone, right underneath the goalpost. Raiders score with 1:50 to go before halftime. Bowers with his fourth touchdown grab of the year.
Jason Horowitz on the call. You know, we were talking about how you're going to slow down Jalen Waddle and Cortland Sutton. Well, you need Brock Bowers to get 2 touchdowns a game. So if they get 1 each and Brock Bowers got 2, that evens out, right? So I said the other night, I was talking with my sons. They were over. We had Sunday night dinner, and the conversation broke out at our dinner table on how to get Michael Mayer the ball. I mean, my wife is okay with it, but it's my wife and 3 men, right? Me and my 2 sons, and we're sitting here talking about getting Michael Mayer the ball. Sunday night dinner. My wife cooked a big spread Sunday night once the kids at the house. And we're talking about how to get Michael Mayer the ball. So we went around the room and my sons were talking about it, and it's a priority. It's a priority. I don't know how you can compete with Jalen Waddle and Cortland Sutton and the rest of the league if you don't get Mayer and Bowers going. You got to treat them like receivers. You have to treat them like the players they were. Dominant numbers over volume pass catchers. Michael Mayer is not a special teams player. Get him off special teams. Get him off the field on special teams and on, field goal. I could care less if he could block good on the edge. Get him off the field. Let him play downhill and get him the ball. You can't double team Michael Mayer. It's impossible. You double teaming Brock Bowers. You're going to have 2 wide. You might even double team Jalen Naylor, speedy. So you got to get Mayer the ball. And I think Kubiak's going to be brilliant at that. If Michael Mayer is part of the team, why did I say if? Because he's been here a long time and they don't give him the ball. So this is the last chance. This coach has got to say, oh, my God, I've been dying to coach you, Michael. Big Mike, come here. I've been dying to coach you. I'm going to put you in motion, and I'm going to have you doing all these unique routes that you've seen me do in Seattle, and we're going to get you rolling here. And then Genty comes out of the backfield, and Kubiak gets him like 40 targets as a receiver. Then we don't need Jalen Waddle. Because if you're throwing the ball to Genty and Mayer and Bowers and Naylor, I haven't even got to Besh and Thornton and Trey Tucker. And they might get a number 1. They might get a high pick. Like the second round, they could get a first-round grade for a wide receiver and then really have someone there that you could say, that's going to be our future number 1. I felt like, I don't want to say they reached because I love Jack Besh. I'm a big Jack Besh guy. But Dante Thornton Jr., I mean, what is he going to do here under Kubiak? Everybody better be able to work under Clint Kubiak and catch the ball. Here's Todd McShay. He had something to say on Mendoza because there's been some differing thoughts on how he handles and what's going to happen in the NFL. Here's Todd McShay.
He's as good as I can remember for a 6'4 plus quarterback, almost Brady-like in this instance in terms of where Brady got with his lower and upper body in sync mechanics. It is compulsively repetitious, his stroke. And that's why he's so damn accurate. The back shoulder stuff is elite. It's like 1%. Okay. So you got all that. Then you've got a tall guy, instincts, prepared, who has like it's rapid fire watching his progressions, man. And it's not just 1, 2, 3. It's 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. It's like if you watch the behind the helmet stuff, the tight copy of just his helmet where it's going. Or if you're watching it from the other end zone, watching his eyes, he's got that. I'm really high on Mendoza. Honestly, the more I watched of him, I would put him ahead of Cam Ward.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. I don't think Cam Ward, to me, really seemed more like a project compared to Mendoza. But I don't know. Mendoza's going to have a point where he struggles. I tell everybody this when we come back. Go watch the John Elway documentary. And go see how tough it was for John Elway his rookie year before he got benched for Steve DeBerg. They had to sit him down. He was so bad at times. Couldn't figure it out. Then he became one of the greatest of all time. He was taken number 1 overall and started week 1. I expect Mendoza to start week 1. I do, unless they bring in just a lock veteran who they're making it clear that they're going to start him. All right, man, I'm in the chat. Let's go. What do we got?
They've got a better team today. As long as all these deals go through, and once it becomes official, then we can say, all right, it's all good. From every indication I have, they're going to fulfill all the agreements, which is great. They're a better team today than they were on Friday with all these deals. And, oh, by the way, they're getting Max Crosby back for the time being in the building at 6 a.m. rehabbing. I am not betting against Max Crosby. I feel bad for the tackle who's lining up against him week 1, whether that's the Raiders' opponent or another team's opponent.
Unnecessary roughness with your boy Q.
All right.
It's March. You know what that means. College hoops. It takes center stage, and we'll have all your action right here on the Las Vegas Sports Network.
Brought to you by Paul Pata Law. It's not about the injury, it's about the recovery.
Gamblers bonus hits again on January 23rd.
All right, what do we got? Besh and third down and Tiger. Besh and the third down and Tiger. I don't know what that means, Kenny. What does Besh and the third down and Tiger mean?
Celebrating St. Patrick's Day with
all right, hacksaw.
delicious chicken finger meals and
jugs of Leprechaun lemonade. Now, this is just for a limited time only. Enjoy their classic freshly squeezed lemonade. It's just made green. And also, you can get the buttery Texas toast, the coleslaw, everything that I love that is there. I'm a Cadillac, and now, are you kidding me? They have Leprechaun lemonade. Raisin Cane's one love.
See your Vegas Golden Knights on Wednesday, April 15th against the Seattle Kraken in the Party Deck, presented by Sire Spirits. The Party Deck is where all the off-the-ice excitement happens, from the Knights Castle to the Night Line. Tickets in the Party Deck are standing room only. Tickets start at just $39. Go to VGKTicketExchange.com for all the info. That's VGK Ticket Exchange.
All right, we got Lee Hacksaw Hamilton. If you got a question in the AFC West, I'll get it to Hacksaw.
You want him right off the gate?
Let me reset, and we'll get it. Yeah.
Buzzer beaters and Cinderella stories. At Boomer Sportsbook, every game is your game. Download the Boomers app. Open your
Golden Knights with the really big game tonight. They're playing the Buffalo Sabres, a terrible franchise the last 20 years. Terrible. I mean, doormat terrible. And now they're clicking, and now they're good. I think this is a big game. I talked to someone today, a hockey guy, who said, if Vegas can't beat Buffalo at home, just stop the dream of a Stanley Cup. Just stop it. And they got an opportunity to win some games here. They're playing Utah, Edmonton, Colorado's coming back. This is a big moment. They got to beat Buffalo at home.
At Ford Country, you'll get VIP experience with the best service in town and exceptional savings on your favorite Fords like the F-150, Explorer, and the Bronco. Visit Ford Country at the Valley Auto Mall or online at FordCountryHenderson.com. Ford Country, where the difference is real.
Attorney Matt Hoffman with Battleborn Injury Lawyers. When you're injured, you don't just need a lawyer. You need a partner who understands what you're going through. At Battleborn, our attorneys don't just handle your case. We walk beside you every step of the way. We meet with you personally from day one.
I'm good with Joe Flacco. If Joe Flacco played here as a backup to Mendoza, no problem with Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco, if he stepped in and had to play, the ball would come out on time. It would come out to Bowers, very good, and he'd know how to run the huddle and do this. But ideally, I want to see Mendoza and Aiden O'Connell. Because I think Aiden O'Connell can play and start. I do. I think Aiden O'Connell, if you wanted to start for a couple games, I'd be fine with that. I love the fact that Miles Burris is playing Foo. You kidding me, Cisco? That was great.
That we say is what we do on the field. All the little things that win that have nothing to do with ski.
And now, here's JT the Brick.
We are back, hour number 2. This is my last hour of the week. Vinny is in for me the next 2 days. Vince on Friday. Getting out of here for a while. Hope everybody has a good March Madness. We have a bracket contest here at LV Sports Network. If you go there, you'll see all the promotions that we have up there at lvsportsnetwork.com. If you're in my YouTube chat today, and we got a lot of people in there, you got a new bracket contest, the Bricklayer bracket contest. We had a nice winner last year, got a lot of prizes. It's free, and we could get you some prizes there too. Those prizes come from my garage, and they're good. The prizes that you'd want to win, stuff that starting to move around there, and some cool stuff, though. Get in there, and we'll get you all hooked up for that. Jalen Waddle goes to the Broncos today. That's not great news for the Raiders. He's a good player. He's a good player. When he's active, he stretches the field as good as anybody out there. More so, it is a statement from the Broncos that they're all in. The Rams and the Broncos are all in. Is that fair for everybody? Are we good with that? The Rams in the NFC and the Broncos in the AFC are all in. They're telling you it's Super Bowl or bust. The move today by Denver, is it's Super Bowl or bust. They are not screwing around. They ate Russell Wilson's contract. They drafted Bo Nix. They got good players, and they are there now to get it done. I'm not a huge Bo Nix guy, but I know how good he is. And that's a big breaking news story from earlier today. As we bring in one of the most important sports talk hosts of all time, I started listening to him and calling him, and look at me now, the great Lee Hacksaw Hamilton. And Lee, we begin. I think the Waddle move is an all-in move for Denver. It gives them another guy to stretch the field with Sutton and just adds another piece to a team that got close to the Super Bowl. How do you see it?
JT, nice to chat with you again. In all honesty, I think the landscape of the NFL has changed. I think there's a new breed of general manager. that are sitting in a lot of chairs. They are not old football guys. I think they're Ivy Leaguers. I think that's why free agency has been so explosive. That's why so many teams are willing now to give up high draft picks to make player acquisitions that'll put them right in the money. You know, we've had 5 significant trades in the last calendar week, and we're probably going to be looking at a 6th one very, very quickly. But to answer your question specifically, my left hand says, why in the world was Denver so quiet for a whole week of free agency when they had a bunch of money to use and they had holes in their roster and they did nothing? Just absolutely stunned me that Sean Payton would sit there and see everybody come off the board. But this is why, because they had the deal for Waddle put in place. And it's a significant win-win for both. Miami is in massive rebuild mode under new leadership, and Sean Payton gets Waddle to go with the other up-and-down wide receivers he had, to go with the productivity he's got at quarterback, and hopefully the health he can finally secure with his 3 running backs. That's a really vibrant offense, and Waddle's a really good receiver. Granted, he's been dinged a little bit the last couple of years, but when healthy, big-time productivity. So that's a huge get for Denver after doing nothing the first week of free agency.
Lee, how are you reading the room and the teams that look like they're rebuilding and making it obvious? The Jets going with Geno Smith, the Dolphins getting rid of everybody, and obviously they have Malik Willis. In Arizona, who has Gardner Minshew in their building and not much else. Those are teams that, to me, are looking ahead at Arch Manning and a pretty good quarterback class next year. Does it look like those teams are just in full rebuild to you?
I hate to use the word tanking, but this kind of looks like the NFL's version of tanking. You know, a year from today, we'll be talking about maybe 5 first-round draft pick quarterbacks. It's going to be a significant group that will be there, led obviously by the quarterback from Texas and then the quarterback from Oregon. And there'll be some others that will just continue to rocket to the top of the board. So I think those who don't have quarterbacks right now just decided, okay, we will take the consequences this year. We'll trade out, stockpile assets, and be in the hunt to get one of the marquee quarterbacks because it is a quarterback league. But at the end of the day, you know, Arizona still does have Brissett at quarterback, and he'll make them competitive. The thing is, they put some good people around him for the first time in a couple of years. Kyler Murray was not the complete deal. Kyler Murray was handicapped by injuries. Kyler Murray was handicapped by not having a lot of good support people around him. And then they got people in there, and those guys got hurt, notably at wide receiver and in the offensive line. So, you know, Arizona's no different than the New York Jets, who are just biding time, treading water, though the Jets were active in terms of upgrading their defense. But, you know, Geno Wilson's a one-year rental, and he's going from a bad situation he was in with the Raiders to a bad situation he is in with the New York Jets in terms of not having a lot around him. Granted, he's got the running back Breece Hall and he's got Garrett Wilson, but I just don't think they're a very, very good, very complete team. So, yeah, everybody is playing their hand to the 2027 NFL draft.
Hacksaw is our guest. I kind of like the Kyler Murray fit if he's healthy. He's desperate. He's going to make big plays outside the pocket for Justin Jefferson, a very stable organization, good on both sides of the ball, and then Kevin O'Connell teaching him up there. Do you give J.J. McCarthy a shot to beat out Kyler Murray, or is that his job?
Well, I'll sign the memo that says Kevin O'Connell will have great influence on Kyler Murray. Murray's a great athlete, but Murray busts the pocket way too early, doesn't go through progressions, winds up taking so many hits, and gets dinged a lot. That has to change. Now, Kevin O'Connell's playbook has shown that they can rebuild the careers of quarterbacks. Look at what he's done 3 years in a row. Now, Minnesota did not keep the people that he developed, and that got the general manager fired. But at the end of the day, his X's and O's, Kevin O'Connell's X's and O's, are going to fit with this quarterback, and the quarterback's going to have to accept the coaching he's going to get from Kevin O'Connell to be a pocket passer and use the threat of the run to make plays, not run and get hit and get hurt. Because he did that way too often. You know, his record in Arizona was 38-48, and I think he threw 160 touchdown passes. But his turnover rate was alarmingly high, and he took 195 sacks with the Arizona Cardinals. So Murray's going to have to adjust who he is in the pocket and just learn the rest of the components of being a good quarterback. But Kevin O'Connell will teach him that. So I think this was a perfect landing spot. I said last week, when Kyler Murray got on that plane to go to Minnesota to meet with the Vikings, O'Connell was not going to let him get on the plane to come home without signing the contract. They locked him down, and Murray never talked to the other teams that he had scheduled Zoom interviews with.
Hacksaw is our guest. One Man's Opinion, one of the best websites you'll see in all of sports and sports radio. I'll tell you, Lee, we've been doing this a long time, and all my years with the Raiders, I've never seen anything like this Max Crosby saga. And I had a front row seat because I know him so well. And what Baltimore did, and when he was in the building with his wife talking to Hendrickson, and we knew that he had a meniscus cleanup or meniscus surgery. We all knew that. I mean, Daniel Jones got cleared after an Achilles tear at his $44 million deal and his physical. How'd you see it all with the Ravens' behavior? And what do the Raiders do now? Do you think they're in a better spot because they signed 7 new starters and got Crosby back?
And you need to put the addendum. Maybe they get Kirk Cousins at quarterback, which would give them something they have not had in a long time, even at the height of the pretty good career that Derek Carr had. So at the end of the day, what they've done is they've flipped this thing. When Max Crosby got on that plane on that Thursday night after the trade to go to Baltimore to meet with the Ravens, he left behind real wreckage. That was a bad franchise. And when that free agent window opened, all of a sudden, by virtue of everything the Raiders did, and it was expensive, well, they spent $231 million in one day in commitments, but the team he came back to rejoin after the trade was voided is a hell of a lot better than the team he left when he got on the plane. So I think this is win-win for the Raiders if they can complete the deal and if they get Kirk Cousins to be the trigger man with everything else. Totally agree with you in terms of who Crosby is, what he represents as a player. I think he's just great, and he's got unbelievable passion. From the Baltimore perspective, I don't know that if they got cold feet or just the fact that they had 3 different doctors look at MRIs. And I know all about meniscus injuries, and I know about cartilage deterioration, and I know about arthritis. And you might be able to play today and be really good, but a year from today, especially the way Max plays, maybe his knee's going to be different. And if there's a 4-year commitment, I don't know what kind of player he's going to be in year 3, year 4, because this thing deteriorates. And so that's where we are. I think it turns out to be win-win. Ravens got Fredrickson. They don't give a crap what anybody thinks about credibility. They retain their 2 draft picks, and the Raiders win-win because they get Mad Max back, and it's a much better football team now. So put the period and exclamation point on the offseason and go rent Kirk Cousins on a 1-year or a 2-year deal, and maybe he's a massive difference maker, and maybe the Raiders become the turnaround team in the NFL this season, because in all honesty, their colors have been sober and bleak for a long time. Their 1-loss record going back to 2002 is hideous. So maybe this is the starting point on the way back. But they've had a good offseason. Finish it.
Why wouldn't you historically play the number 1 pick right out of the gate like most of them do with Mendoza? You definitely want him to sit for how long?
Maybe a year.
Wow.
Curve. But here's the reality. Just look at the history of high number 1 picks have had to play on ragged teams and what happens to them. Kyler Murray is a prime example. But, I mean, there's even a lot more worst-case scenarios than that. Teach him, coach him up, bring him up. If you rent Cousins is getting his money from Atlanta. So this should not be a financial thing for Kirk Cousins to go to the right situation. And there's not a lot of right situations left out there. Maybe Pittsburgh. But there's not a lot of places out there now that are going to sign him to a long-term contract. So he doesn't have a lot of leverage, but he's made a ton of money over the course of his career. He could be a difference maker there. I'm not very often in favor of just jamming a raw rookie in there, especially a franchise that has really had a substandard offensive line for a whole chunk of time. Grant you, they do have the Pro Bowl center coming in. So I think Cousins is such a difference maker just based on expertise and experience and hired gun. Take it and then let him work with the kid, and the kid is the quarterback of the future without getting shell-shocked. I don't know if that makes any sense to Raider fan in Las Vegas, but that's the way I view it from all the years I've been in the NFL.
Thank you, Lee. One last one, quick one. What's at stake with USA Baseball? All the pressure's on them and not Venezuela. Do you like the roster? Do you like the vibe coming into tonight, being in this medal championship round for Team USA?
Wait for Team USA to start to hit consistently, and this will be the final game. But this is a bigger picture than just this game. It's a bigger picture than just the tournament. And we've seen so many fun things the fans, the energy, the electricity. This is the starting point to take the WBC and their flags and put it in the middle of the summer at the All-Star break, make the All-Star break a 10-day break, play the WBC there. All the pitchers will be totally healthy, and every pitcher will want to pitch for his flag at the All-Star break in the WBC. So baseball has, I don't know if this is by design or they stumbled upon this, JT. I just think this has been spectacular. Jumping off point, take this and put it in the middle of the summer, and it will really be special because everybody will want to play for the flag because everybody will be in full baseball mode by that point.
Thank you, Lee. We'll reach out before the draft. Always the best. Tell everybody how to get to the website, the podcast. I look at it every day.
You like sports? I write about it every day. LeeHacksawHamilton.com. You can subscribe. It's absolutely free. And we talk a lot of sports. Just go to my YouTube channel, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton. We do clips. We do one man's opinion commentaries. And then, of course, we do the full-blown 2-hour podcast, too. So it's all there. You can register, subscribe, share. Guarantee it's different, but it is, we've been brilliant. Yes, you're correct.
It is. Take care, Lee. Good talking to you.
Thanks, JT.
Lee Hacksaw Hamilton. It is good. We're all evolving into YouTube. We're all evolving there. It's all of our safety nets, Clay. You never know when you'll need a safety net. Wink, wink. It's a good place to be.
In the future,
yeah,
can sometimes be the same.
Yeah, Lee's good. I mean, I would, it's incredible having him on because when I moved out as a stockbroker, if you saw the movie Boiler Room, not Wolf of Wall Street, Boiler Room was written about my crew, not our crew. That movie was depicted from the firm and the people I worked with. They changed it. They put a little love story in there. But if you watch the movie Boiler Room, which was very good, you'll see my life. That's what I did before I moved out west and before I won the Jim Rome show. And a lot of people have asked me over my career, well, what was it like calling into Rome? I was calling into Hacksaw. I was calling into that guy we just had on. I would call Hacksaw and Hacksaw's show, and then Rome came on the scene. And Jim Rome just took over sports radio. I've never seen anything like it. There will never be anything like the birth of Jim Rome. Let me say that again. Pat McAfee's got a big deal. There's other shows out there. Rome was not a steady rise. Rome exploded into sports radio, exploded. He was local in San Diego where I lived, and he had a local show. But when he went national, it was back in the day when you actually had affiliates. There were actually radio stations that picked up networks, and it wasn't filler. Like you could get on the radio. I was on big stations at night. And before I got that, I had to win Jim Rome smack off. And Jim, when I entered the first one and won it, Jim was huge right out of the gate. It was like a meteoric rise for Jim Rome. And he worked before that a little bit longer. But when he hit, it's like a lot of these celebrities now in music, when they hit and they say, man, that was quick. No, I've been doing this a while. He was doing it a little bit, but when he hit, it was big. But Lee was the guy that I would pull over in my Porsche. Yeah, 22 years old in a Porsche that I eventually would have to think about how to pay for. But at that time, it was a good time. I had one of those brick, excuse the pun, cell phones in the middle of my car. It was the size. It looked like a lunchbox. And I would sit near the beach and call Hacksaw on hold. And Lee's not on hold now to listen to this, but I'll tell you, I take pride in my monologue every day. I think every radio host should take pride in the first 20 minutes of their show. You should take pride in your whole show. But the first 20 minutes is what you do. That's who you are. And I don't do a lot of small talk. And I learned that from Hacksaw. He'd open up his show, and it was like he was shot out of a cannon for 20 minutes. And I kind of copy that with different types of content. So go check out LeeHacksawHamilton.com. And he's a really good guest. And he's not Raider friendly. He does not like the Raiders. He was the voice of the Chargers and the Seahawks. But he's fair. And that's why I put him on here. And he talked about the Raiders record. And he likes that the Raiders can turn it around. Interesting thing. He thinks Mendoza should sit out a year, Clay. A year. Where there's a chance that I could be wrong because I think Mendoza's going to play. But if they do sign Cousins, it's a lock that Cousins is going to start. Mm-hmm. A lock. But would that be 4 games or 6 games? If Cousins came out and he was 3-1, you keep Cousins in. But I don't know because I don't think Cousins would want to relinquish the quarterback position. I think he'd want to play.
He'd like to play. That's what he's all about. And at the mark of your schedule, you find that one home game with an opponent that you feel like, all right, this is workable. with a rookie quarterback, right? There's always that week 6, week 7, something like that where you feel like there's a good home opponent that you feel comfortable with. But using that Kyler Murray example is like, be careful of when rookie quarterbacks start for bad teams coming off of 3-win seasons.
Sure.
You have to be careful with that. How strong are you? Or next thing you know, you're going to have a guy that's played for 5 years and has almost 200 sacks.
Yeah, Troy Aikman and Peyton Manning did the same thing. They got beat up like piñatas. They went to the Super Bowls, won multiple Super Bowls, went to the Hall of Fame. They played. John Elway played. I would let Mendoza play. I'd get him in there and let him play week 1 and just let him play for 5 years to see what he's got. But I understand if they have a veteran that they're comfortable with. The only 2 veterans that I think you should be comfortable with playing over Mendoza would be Joe Flacco and Kirk Cousins, 2 very good quarterbacks over their careers who could guide the Raiders, and Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, Jalen Naylor, get them the ball and maybe win a couple of games early. We will see. We have plenty of time to talk about that. Thanks again to Hacksaw. Coming up, Greg Rosenthal, big guest. I usually get him once or twice a year, bottom of the hour, NFL.com on his top 100 free agents as we continue on here on the show. Very excited about all of our proud partners, including Grimaldi's. And if you're looking to eat anytime, Grimaldi's have 4 great locations. I'll be at Boca Park today. I'm going to slide by La Casa Cigars, pick up a couple of sticks while I'm there hanging out with Mike. I'm going to call Grimaldi's in Boca Park. I'm going to get 2 Brooklyn Bridge, extra ricotta. I'm going to pick it up with the Caesar. I'm going to go there, sit at the bar. They're going to deliver it to me, and I'm going to drive it home. It's fantastic. Grimaldi's, the best pizza I've ever had. 4 locations in the Valley. Give it a shot. If you're new to Vegas, find Grimaldi's. You'll thank me for that. More on the breaking news coming up next. Jalen Waddle to the Denver Broncos and how that affects the Raiders. Greg Rosenthal at the bottom of the hour. Please get me a bracket. I'm off the radio the rest of the week. I need your bracket. It's right there on my YouTube page at JT the Brick. You can't miss it. It's in there right now in the chat. If you go to YouTube, enter my Bricklayers bracket contest for some cool prizes. All right, let's get this thing rolling. All right, what's happening? We got a lot of people. 527 total. That includes a lot of X people just looking, not logging. We got to get those X people logging in.
You can do what you need to do and be successful with knowing Brock Bowers is your number 1 pass catcher.
The Morning Tailgate, weekdays at 7 a.m. on Raider Nation Radio 920.
So I told you Vince is in Friday?
Quit Gaming is the official and exclusive local casino partner of the Las Vegas Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Bring your friends, have some fun, but always bet on black. Visit their 10 casinos across the valley. Don't let the game get out of hand. Please bet responsibly.
All right, Greg Rosenthal, pretty good guest coming up. Arizona. I got Arizona, Illinois in the final, and how would I pick Illinois to go that far without winning? But I'm leaning towards Arizona winning. Oh.
Fords like the F-150, Explorer, and the Bronco. Visit Ford Country at the Valley Auto Mall or online at FordCountryHenderson.com. Ford Country, where the difference is real.
This St. Patrick's Day, don't rely on luck when it comes to dealing with the insurance companies. Hi, this is Paul Pata from Paul Pata Law. If you've been in a car accident, motorcycle accident, or a slip and fall, our amazing team will fight on your behalf with the insurance companies to get you the justice you deserve. And we don't need a 4-leaf clover to do it. Remember, it's not about the injury, it's about the
That was good. Hacksaw was good. I thought he had a lot of good information there.
And have a safe and happy St. Patrick's Day.
See your Vegas Golden Knights on Wednesday, April 15th against the Seattle Kraken in the Party Deck, presented by Sire Spirits. The Party Deck is where all the off-the-ice excitement happens, from the Knights Castle to the Night Line. Tickets in the Party Deck are standing room only. Tickets start at just $39. Go to VGKTicketExchange.com for all the info. That's VGKTicketExchange.com. Sponsored by Westar Credit Union and Centennial Subaru. Resale transfer on expiration. Tickets will be delivered by a mobile 48 hours before the game.
I'm worth more.
You bet I'm worth more.
I'm worth a little more.
We completely agree. At GiveMeTheVin.com, you are worth
It's amazing that they want these canes. There's a new canes they want at the end of the show.
worth more.
So I'm just going to do a live read with it again and just clip it and give it to him. If it's close, it's close. You can't ask to do a live read the day of while I'm on the air. Like, what are we doing? Like, can't I get this a week ago?
Modelo is an official cerveza of the Las Vegas Raiders and the JT
Right.
Brick Show.
No, it's probably a quick turnaround, but
Pilsner-style lager,
whatever.
delivering a crisp, refreshing taste, brewed with fighting spirit since 1925.
All right, we'll wait till 1:30 for Greg.
The Southern Nevada business community loves the DLC.
You want to come
Why
back
is that,
and
Chuck?
you want to put a type or Olasky?
Yeah, let's do Olasky.
Okay.
But sometimes their customers are just short on money. That's where we come in. Vets, dentists, apartment complexes, auto repair shops, really any small business can send their customers to us.
And you hook their customers
Yep.
up with the cash they need. Brilliant. No wonder they send their customers to Dollar Loan Center.
We're also the perfect place to send your employees when they get
Hacksaw is very good. He's a good content provider. Keep an eye on Iowa State. I like Iowa State.
Founded in Las Vegas over 28 years ago, DLC lends up to $5,000 in minutes. Stop by any of our 25 nearby locations to meet our real friendly staff. You can also apply over the phone or online at don'tbebroke.com.
All right, we're back, everybody.
My morning. Hey, what's
We
up?
are
It's
back.
Evelyn.
And I'm Josh.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit is that it's our go-to morning comfort.
You've got that nice golden fluffy egg,
With a soft, flaky biscuit,
crispy bacon.
melty cheese.
You want something quick, you want something convenient, but most of all, you want something good.
There's no better way to start your morning.
There we go.
Start off the morning with a Chick-fil-A bacon, egg, and cheese biscuit with
I
Simply
think it
Orange
was in
Juice.
chat
Order
and
on the
we put it on
Chick-fil-A app
timeout.
today.
Is
Real
there a
guests
reason
pay
for
for their
that?
Who
testimonials.
was?
Patrick?
Who's Patrick?
He's calling in. He was on the chat, but he's been putting time out. He doesn't know why.
I don't know why he was put in timeout. Why is Patrick on hold? He said he was put in timeout. Did someone put Patrick in timeout? Put him up. Well, we'll find out.
Do you want to make a comment on the air?
You know, Fantastic's open every Friday, Saturday, and
They love the chat. They don't want to be in timeout.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
Oh, okay. Well, he says if he did anything wrong, he apologizes.
I'm not aware of that unless one of my administrators. Anybody put Patrick in timeout and want to get him in timeout, he called up to apologize. Anybody want to take Patrick and put him out there? Don't ever take away anyone's chat
He's
time.
worried about his status.
Doors open at 8 p.m. Tickets available now at Ticketmaster.com or the New Resort box office. Huddle 9, Eve 6, Saturday, March 21st at New Resort.
Welcome back to the JT the Brick Show, brought to you by the DeCasta Verde Law Group. If you get injured in an accident, call 702-222-9999.
They run it again with Jetty, patient behind the line. Bounces out to the left at the 40, into the secondary 30. Nobody's going to catch him. Down the middle of the field, Jetty at the 5. Touchdown, Raiders. Deuces, goodbye for the second time of the ball game. This one from 51 yards. And with 5:24 to go, the Raiders on the back of the 6th overall pick. Not done yet.
Wow, how about that? That's a hell of a call there by our buddy Jason Horowitz. He's got great calls. We just need to give him more opportunities for more wins. Eat like a basketball legend with Raisin Cane's. Bring home a box combo with 4 hand-battered cooked-to-order chicken fingers, crispy crinkle-cut fries, that fresh coleslaw, the buttery Texas toast, and their secret cane sauce. Add in delicious iced tea or the freshly squeezed lemonade to make it a true slam dunk. Raisin Cane's chicken fingers, one love, man. We love Cane's, and they're hammering us today on some really good promotions here on St. Patty's Day as we continue on. If you want to get through to the show, it's 702-365-9200. 702-365-9200. The big storyline today is simple. It's on Jaden Waddle going to Denver. That's a big upgrade for them. We're competing with Denver in the division. At one point, we won 8 in a row when we moved to Vegas. 8 in a row. We swept them for 4 years. Now the pendulum has turned. We got to turn it around and get it going. So remember I just told you we just played Todd McShay praising how great Mendoza was with his progressions. On the other side of the coin, here's Dan Orlovsky from ESPN.
There's
not a lot of evidence of him down the field getting through a progression 1 to 2 to 3. His greatest superpower is he avoids negative play. So a lot of times it's like number 1 down, okay? So there's not a ton of evidence of that. This is an example against Oregon, okay? You get 2 tight ends at the bottom of the screen. They're going to take a shot here, Indiana offensively. Little ball fake, half roll, and they're going to try to watch the receiver down the middle field on a big post. It's not there. Now, Mendoza's staring at the bottom of the screen. That's good, but there's an in route at the top. That is really like the second or third part of the progression. The pocket is clean. I want to see him get to that. He immediately gets the check down. Risk averse. You're not going to be great in the NFL kind of living like that. I think the second thing is there's a lot of examples of his eyes dropping, looking at the rush.
All right, so that's a little bit of him. And Orlovsky's making a name for himself. I think he's very good. I'm not here to rip him. I think he's very good. He's on ESPN television. He played quarterback in the NFL. He wasn't an elite quarterback, but he's a good analyst. And the issue comes down to simply he doesn't think Mendoza is as good as his draft potential. And that's fair. There's going to be a few people who say that. And he's on the record doing it. But what's going to happen now, he's going to notice that he's getting a lot of comments with that. So he's going to put out more and more because he's going to get more clicks and more people are going to talk to him. And he's going to be the guy heading into the draft where everybody's going to say, well, everybody loves Mendoza except, that's Dan Orlovsky. Except Dan Orlovsky. That's coming. That's coming. And that's going to be a really interesting point. And will there be more? Will there be more individuals who are in that situation? Greg Rosenthal is so active right now. He's the host of the NFL Daily Podcast, available wherever you listen to podcasts. He's also, and this guy does a lot, hosts, and what he does with the 40s and Free Agents podcast, along with Daniel Jeremiah, is excellent. And Greg, I've been really praising you all month on these top 100 NFL free agents. It's a way for us and guys who do what I do in the business to kind of take our checklist and see who's available and who's gone. What's that like doing that every year? Because I've been counting on it.
Yeah, it's a lot of work that goes into it, trying to figure out what teams actually think, what the positions are going to think. And this year, more than ever, the players got taken off the board quickly. By the time actual free agency opened, there was only 2 players left in the top 40 from the original list, and now those 2 players are gone too.
With the trades that are coming and Jalen Waddle earlier today, what's your big overview of the younger GM now that wants to do a deal? Maybe he'll do a trade where other GMs maybe a decade or so ago would do it via the draft or wait for the non-tampering free agents series to begin with, because the trades are starting to make a difference around the league.
Oh, yeah, it's a great question because I think there's a few factors. I think you're right. It's some of the younger GMs who aren't afraid to trade, but also I think look at free agency, know how expensive it is. Denver is a good example of it, and they've kind of said, look, we're not going to find the best players, and only the best players are going to improve this really good roster in free agency without having to overpay. And yet there's a ton of cap space. Teams are much smarter than they used to be in terms of salary cap management, and if you look at it, I think there's too much cap space around the league. Almost everyone has the room to make a Jalen Waddle type of trade. So you get flexibility there. You have room to make it, and we keep seeing it happen. I don't think they're done yet.
You tweeted out earlier today, I don't think tanking is really a thing in the NFL, but it's clearly a year for Miami to reset, plan for the future, and what they're trying to do now with the new administration to win. There's a lot of fingers being pointed at Arizona and obviously the Jets for bringing in Geno here, that everybody could be looking a year from now, longer than a year from now, for Arch Manning and a better draft class. So let's start with Miami, because you had Malik Willis as your number 1 ranked free agent of the offseason.
Yeah, I really liked him, and he's really going to play this next season on difficulty mode, like 10, because there are no receivers around him right now in Miami. And yet, I don't think it gets in the way of evaluating him, and his contract is such that it's really a 2-year contract. If they want to take a quarterback at the top of the draft, his contract is not so much that it would get in the way of it. But yeah, there's a few teams like Miami, like the Jets, like the Cardinals, that are setting up to be poor next year. But I really think when I say there's no tanking, I think the coach, the players, they're obviously all trying, and there's so many different factors that I don't think true tanking like happens in the NBA doesn't really come into play until we get into December and you start sitting a few players, you like Derek Carr when he got sat back in the day, or Russell Wilson. Like, that happens, but usually that's weeks 16, 17, 18. In general, these teams are starting the season trying to win. Aaron Glenn in New York, for instance, he's trying to save his job.
Yeah, I would agree 100%. Aaron Glenn, if he doesn't win more than 5 games, is out. And coaches never want to tank. Coaches want to win. They work every day. You were high on Tyler Linderbaum, who ends up coming out here where I am with the Raiders, but then the whole Max Crosby situation and what happened there. Give me your overview of what happened when the Raiders got Linderbaum, paid him over the price, but maybe the price the Raiders were comfortable with, but not the rest of the league. And then Max Crosby goes to Baltimore and comes back, and they go with Hendrickson. Give us your assessment of all that.
You can't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to pay a little bit of a tax if you're the Raiders, because Linderbaum and the Ravens, look, that's a winning organization, and so you had to pay a premium. They were not willing to go as high. No one else was, but they really valued him. They went pretty far into making him the highest paid center in league history by a good amount. I heard they were, getting close to $23, $24 million a year. The Raiders just went over the top. The fact that the Raiders had the flexibility, this goes back to what I said, to be able to take Crosby back is fascinating to me. I don't know if they would have done as many moves, like bringing Malcolm Kuntz back and make the Kwity Paye move if Max Crosby was coming back to the team. And yet, you look at the defense now, they've added a lot of real deal guys that are in the middle of their careers, and that's what I like most about the Raiders. They're not all going to hit, but they're basically 2-year commitments, and they're players that are in their primes, and that makes a lot more sense to me than what they did a year ago.
Your assessment of Kyler Murray with Minnesota there, you had him ranked number 4 overall. I'm a big fan of Kyler Murray, and I think a fresh start, like a lot of fresh starts. How many fresh starts did Sam Darnold have from the Jets to Carolina to the Niners to Minnesota, then a Super Bowl? Kyler Murray's got to be looking at what Sam Darnold did and say, I got to follow this model. This is his last chance. Do you like the roster for Kyler Murray and the coaching waiting for him?
I love it. I love the coaching. I like the offensive tackles there. I obviously like Justin Jefferson and Addison. And I feel like I've been taking crazy pills. We agree on Kyler Murray. Like, people throwing him into the mix of comparing him to Tua or these different reclamation projects, and even if Sam Darnold didn't come close to the production and the high level skill set and ability that I think that Murray showed right off the bat, it hasn't been perfect. That's why he's available. But for him to be just signed for $1.3 million, that's all the Vikings are paying him, while the Cardinals pay him all that money to not be on the team. Just an incredible value. It's going to make watching the Vikings more exciting. I think they're a contender. I think they're an NFC contender with him, because the rest of the roster and the defense is really pretty good.
Greg Rosenthal joins us from NFL.com. Check out his free agent list here, which is fantastic. I've been telling you about it every day, and all of his other great content. You bring up something interesting on now. These quarterbacks who are getting paid by other teams to be on new teams. You've been doing this a while. This is much more than a trend now. Geno Smith's with the Jets. The Raiders are paying for it. And we're looking at what's happening in Kansas City now with Justin Fields. The Jets are paying for that. And you mentioned Kyler Murray. And then we forgot the one big guy, Kirk Cousins, who's going to land somewhere, and Atlanta's paying for it. Is this good for the league or really bad long term?
I don't think it's bad. And I think Kirk Cousins could be an option there in Vegas to go with Fernando Mendoza, which would be an interesting mix. I think it's new that these players are actually good enough that they're getting opportunities, because there's only so many quarterbacks out there, and Geno and Kyler certainly, but even Kirk Cousins, they're better than a lot of players out there. Tua, I suppose. It's just strange that these teams can make such a bad decision when it comes to Tua Tagovailoa that they're willing to pay $90 million over the next 2 years for him not even to be there. And it just goes to show how important stability is. You're changing your GM every other year. You're changing your coach every 2 to 3 years. That's what happens. These are all new in terms of regimes of the team that didn't sign those contracts, and they want to move off of it, and they want to get their own guys.
Greg, finally, I feel like the Rams are the best team. I think they've done the most. I think they're looking at their secondary and trying to match their secondary with Seattle, who's not as good as they were on Super Bowl Sunday, and especially the Niners, who countered with Mike Evans. I like that move. Can you give me 1 or 2 teams that you think had the best offseason and could be real contenders to win the Super Bowl?
Okay, well, those are 2 different questions.
Yeah.
But I immediately was got to go with the Commanders and the Raiders, who I really like both their offseason.
Okay.
I don't think they're ready. I don't think they're ready to compete for a Super Bowl. I think that move by Kyler Murray gives them a chance to actually compete. And I really think that Denver Broncos move today in a watered down AFC was awesome. That is the most ready-made AFC roster. I think what the Rams are to the NFC right now, the Broncos kind of are to the AFC.
Thank you, Greg. I'm always watching. I appreciate your content. Hope to talk to you after the draft. Thanks so much.
Appreciate you, JT. Big fan.
You got it. Thank you, Greg Rosenthal. Really good. Wow, good interview there. All because of him. A couple of takeaways. He loves what the Raiders have done. He couldn't get enough information out on the Raiders. Loves what the Raiders have done. Commanders and the Raiders were his choices for the best offseason. Those two teams. He talked about what the Raiders were able to do getting Crosby back. So the Kwity Paye move and the Malcolm Kuntz. I don't think Malcolm Kuntz is a Raider if Max Crosby was here the whole time. I think that they'd probably move Malcolm and bring in Kwity Paye, and that's the end. But now they got them both. So I like what he has to say there. And then he's a massive fan of Kyler Murray and what Kyler Murray can do going forward. And I'm not that over the top. I like Kyler Murray a lot, the Oklahoma ties, but I'm not saying he's the Super Bowl bound. Because Minnesota is a team that just is so snake bit. One of these years, Minnesota is going to win a Super Bowl, Clay. You grew up as a Detroit Lion fan. I thought I'd say the same thing about the Lions. I thought 3-4 years ago when Campbell finally was turning it around, that in 2 to 3 years, that not only would the Lions have a Super Bowl, they'd be in the hunt for multiple Super Bowls, and they came up short.
Yeah, they hit that window open, up 17 against the San Francisco 49ers at halftime. And now that window's starting to close a little bit. Uncertainty is coming in because that NFC North is so strong, and the Vikings are so good too. They have to go and make this hit with Justin Jefferson. They have to start to make this a rounded, well-rounded offense that constantly is explosive, and yet they have not found the quarterback to consistently do it.
Now, a lot of guys turn into their dads. You know, my dad had a big influence on my life, still does. My dad's alive, and he's great. And my wife reminds me that I'm acting like my dad when I want to get to the airport early tomorrow. I said, we need to because of what's on the news. And she said, what's on the news? And there's 4-hour TSA lines in Houston, Atlanta, because TSA workers are great. They're not getting paid because of the partial government shutdown. But she says, that's not the problem in Vegas. Our airport's moving, flowing. I go, that doesn't mean it will tomorrow. So, Clay, what is the new way? What is the new cool? Because I'm bringing my younger son with me, and he's really cool. He's the guy that likes to leave the house like an hour and a half before the flight. Leave the house. And I'm the guy that wants to get to the airport 2 hours before my flight, which means if that's the case, in Vegas, you get to the airport. I get to the airport in 20 minutes. So then that's 2.5 hours because there's 20 minutes to get to the airport. Then I have golf clubs I got to drop off. I just can't go to the gate. So what is the cool amount of time to leave your home before a flight?
You better put in 2 hours. You really should.
You got to get there before 2 hours or leave the house before 2 hours.
All right, get there 90 minutes before your flight. And then and walking through the terminal with 90 minutes to go minimum. Don't wait for something might happen because you know what? These garages get overflowed. And next thing you know, you have to go to like the utility lot. And now you have to add an extra half hour to your time. You ever go through one of those?
Yes, I never did. I never did.
City, baby.
I've never done this because we've had such a great airport. We've had such a great airport here that, knock on wood, and we're going to get a ride. My son's going to drop us off. But when you end up going and you pull into Las Vegas airport and you see that the garage is closed for overflow, there is a sense of panic like in no other city.
For me, it's shivering.
It's shivering. It's a panic.
Because I don't like being late for anything.
Yeah, so that's been a problem. But what's happening now is people, when you get there, this TSA pre, and I have clear and all that, you have to have that now. If you have to go on the regular line and something happens during a government shutdown, I mean, it's no joke what's going on at some of these airports. 4 hours. Now, we're better because we're a tourist. Our whole economy is based on getting people in and out of the airport. So you'd think we'd run a little smoother, right?
They've got it so streamlined. It's perfect. It's one of the best
it is.
airports to pick anybody up in. But if you have to get out in a hurry, they don't want you to wait around any longer. It's funny, like how the rest of the strip has gotten customer service wrong. The airport always maintains a high standard of customer service. We'll get you out of here. Don't you worry. Because we don't want your last memory of Las Vegas is that airport hassle, because that might keep you from coming back.
Yeah, I'm not easy to travel with my wife and sons because I'm a go. Let's get to the gate. Then when I get to the gate, I drop off my stuff and go get a beverage.
Well,
I like to have an adult beverage before I get on the flight.
All right, the youngest, is he old enough? 21? Is he over?
My youngest, who's in the chat right now, has got this all figured out. He's the type of guy never sweats an airport. He's 22. He's got it all figured out. He knows he's never going to be late. Everything's going to be perfect for him. And then I'm the one saying if I miss the flight, then I miss the first day of my trip. Because the other big thing now is you can't get rebooked, right? It used to be, okay, hey, you missed that flight. There's another one 2 hours from now. You miss a flight now, it's go home.
Yeah.
And you'll be lucky if you get rebooked.
Right. It's over. And
it's over.
Ruined.
The trip's ruined.
And go there early enough. And if he knows what he's doing, there's airport bars there at the Harry Reid Airport where they give you get a big draft beer and they put in a shot for an additional $5. And it's not like a little 1 ounce shot. It's like, we're going to keep you here. And, that's always a good bonding moment.
Yeah.
The family that has shots together stays together.
Yeah. I think my wife is not going to participate in an Irish car bomb. I had an Irish car bomb the other day at Wahoo's. We had a nice St. Patrick's Day party there.
You look like you're having fun.
Yeah, it was a fun time. I always have fun. Even for those who don't know me and those who question me on websites and you don't know me, you'd love to hang out with me. I have fun. You have to have fun in life, and living in Vegas, and this is the best place to have fun. Last call to get in on the Broncos today. And Q's coming up next. I'm sure he's going to have a lot to say on this. I can tell you that. The Broncos got better today. That is not good. No bueno. No bueno with the Broncos getting better with a number one wide receiver. Do the Raiders have to find a number one wide receiver to counter? We'll see. I'm pretty happy with what John Spidek's doing, that's for sure. No doubt. We'll wrap it up on the other side, Q, at the top of the hour. And please go to lvsportsnetwork.com and find a way to get into our Las Vegas Sports Network Bracket Challenge. We're promoting that heavy to Thursday. Get it in on time. All right, everybody. I will see you Monday. No chat, no nothing. We're off till Monday. Do what you're doing. I'll send some backyard bricks. There'll be some golf content. If you sign up on YouTube, hit subscribe. You'll get all that, some backyard bricks from the road. Thanks a lot, everybody. I appreciate everybody. And get me your bracket and send your bracket to others, man. Let's build the Brick House Bracket Challenge.